So again, we just watched a Super Mac Bros video, but I think it was in reply to this specific morphologist video that, let's pause that real quick, that says that this is not the year for Star Citizen. I made a video like this a few months back at the beginning of the year, before or towards the end of last year, that this is not going, 2022 is not going to be a good video. Or it's not going to be a good year for Star Citizen, because it's still, a lot of the foundational pillars are going to be in, hopefully, towards the end of the year. And, you know, CIG's plans and delays happen. And typically, if they plan for something to be at the end of the year, it usually, especially if it's a major feature like static server meshing, it doesn't make it in. It's going to be pushed again, because that's what happens. So to expect anything great this year would be probably unrealistic, but maybe I'm on the pessimistic side. And Morph might be as well. But let's check out this video. It's not too long, so it seems like he's going to be pretty quick and to the point. So let's check it out.
On the whole, the last CitizenCon wasn't the most exciting event in the game's development history, but it still brought with it some good news about the future of Star Citizen, with pivotal game systems like server meshing and the features that it'll bring. Like the first new star system we've received in over 6 years since it first went live to the persistent universe in December of 2015.
Yeah.
It was such a breath of fresh air after 2 years of lackluster updates with little tangible progress. Finally, a big step forward in progress that we've all been waiting for, with a new star system and more players per server. The only question left on everyone's mind was when? And in typical CIG fashion,
it's the question everybody has about everything. When? Because I am excited. When can I play it? Right? It's what we all want to know. It's what they refuse to say, because our reactions are typically not good. I mean, I said this during...
When will then be now? Soon.
Yeah. Exactly. I said these things during the roadmap drama stuff. Is in reality, people are just frustrated because they want to know when, and when you tell them when and then it's not when, they're just going to get annoyed, because it's what people care about the most. They gave money, they want something in return, they usually don't get it because Star Citizen, and then here we are.
We really didn't get an answer, but they said it was close at the very least. Fortunately, or rather unfortunately, we now have some semblance of an answer. You ready? Definitely not in 2022. Probably. The progress tracker, what they now want us to focus on, was just updated, and it now shows that server meshing is approaching completion at the very tail end of 2022. I mean, it's...
Again, how many times are they looking at this? Like, guys, the line ending doesn't mean it's completing. The line ending means that specific team's work completed on it. That's it. Look at this. Server meshing. All these different teams, all these different tasks, all these things don't mean that it's complete.
It's hard to know because the progress tracker is not really a progress tracker, because when something is done on the progress tracker, it doesn't mean it's complete according to CIG, and so all we can really say...
Morph gets it. I should have known better than to pause. Morph knows. I don't have to tell Morph anything. Morph gets it.
Is that it's not going to be released within the time that it shows that it's being worked on, because it's being worked on. So I can just say it's not coming out in 2022. It's just not happening. And if you're maybe uninformed, CIG's not been the best with time frames, and so it's probably still pretty optimistic. So we're still looking at this going into 2023. And based on what we learned about server meshing and SitCon, we know that server meshing is going to be tested this year, starting with replication layer, which, if it goes well, will allow them to actually test server meshing later on. But if that doesn't happen, that schedule is going to be extended. And before you...
I mean, that also means, like, as far as I understand, the replication layer would have impacts to our game experience in the current game as well. So it's not like... Again, maybe he'll explain it in a second, but I think the way Morph's tone was there is that the replication layer is just a stepping stone to server meshing. But as far as I understand, is like that and like the entity graph stuff is persistence and needed for many other things in the game other than not just server meshing, but like persistent hangers and ore veins and stuff like that.
You get your hopes up that replication layer is just a component that's required to make meshing work, and it's not actually going to have any effect on gameplay. You're not going to notice any difference when they test it. It's just going to be tested in the background. So
I don't think so. I hope he's wrong, but Morph might be more integrated into CIG than I am, and maybe he's onto something here. Maybe he knows something that we don't, but I don't think that's the case. How they explained it was that it was what that iCache thing was. They just kind of like renamed it. It's something different now.
I mean, if it all goes well, which it usually doesn't, we'll see it at the end of Q4, but not in a release. It'll probably be Q1 or Q2 of 2023. Of course, this also means then that we're not getting Pyro this year, as the new star system requires server meshing to work. That and a bunch of other features like persistent hangers, blah, blah, blah. There's a ton of stuff that's being locked behind this, and it's really unfortunate to learn that we can't look forward to it this year. But at least we can get some more gameplay and features and gameplay loops this year, right?
Pepe laugh. Did you hear it? He just Pepe laughed. Listen.
I got some more bad news for you. Now, unfortunately, there was a big thing that I missed in the last video I did about that roadmap update that set everyone's hair on fire a couple weeks ago. I don't know how I missed this, but it's probably the most important sentence in the entire thing, and it's buried halfway through.
What is it?
As mentioned in a previous roadmap roundup, as well as on this episode of Star Citizen Live, the core gameplay pillar team has moved to focus exclusively on Squadron 42. Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. I don't know how I overlooked this nugget in the last video, but holy crap.
Oh, you're overlooking a lot. Now, here's the deal. You're overlooking it so bad, I think Morph is getting it completely wrong. Hopefully. Okay, this is a huge caveat here. The idea behind this was, we had a whole Calling All Devs or an SCL about it, was that the core team that Richard Tyrer covers, which is the gameplay pillar, whatever, right? That's him. And now maybe others are moving exclusively to Squadron. I think the exclusively thing is dangerous, and I think maybe Morph's reading into it too much, but maybe not. All right? But I think he's really wrong here. If CIG could be held accountable for what they say, but we all know that they can't. So there's some major caveats here. Richard Tyrer's team moves to Squadron 42. The idea behind that is to flesh out features significantly more than they were doing in the PU. So, for example, if they brought healing and medical and inventory and looting to Squadron 42 first, it should theoretically not be as trash as it is now. But we would get it significantly later. So it would go in, it would get polished, and be brought to the PU designers with a lot more understanding of how it works, how to utilize it, how to implement it into the game, and what sort of some examples of what they can do with it. So it would be a lot more robust. The issue here, and where the caveat comes in, is none of that has happened yet. I'm not entirely convinced that it will happen at all, because who knows? It's Star Citizen. They say things, and then they don't do them. So that's something that you have to pay attention to here as well. The word exclusively is scary, though, but Richard Tyrer works exclusively on Squadron 42 now as well, but they do hand off those features to PU designers. The 3 of them that it feels like we have. But that is what is supposed to happen. It's just a matter of, will that thing happen or not? I'm not so sure. I'm a little bit less pessimistic than Morph on this one, because I think we have to let it play out, because I believe Richard Tyrer was still on the PU side with medical, healing, looting, downstates, all that stuff, right? So I think whatever comes after, we probably will have a dead zone, and then hopefully, and I doubt it, things will come into the PU and be a lot more polished. But again, I doubt it.
That hit home. When you think about it and you combine that with the next little tidbit I'm going to add on. There was an article published by MCV Develop, which is a magazine that interviews and talks to developers and covers developer news in the development industry, where they interviewed Carl Jones, Chief Operations Officer for Cloud Imperium Games, where he said that with regards to Squadron 42, I guess we'll see how long he, Chris Roberts, needs to be over in the UK. It could be 1 or 2 years more to complete Squadron 42.
No shit.
Allow me to assemble this jigsaw puzzle for you if you've not seen the picture that it paints yet. Not only are we not getting large content like Pyro or server meshing this year, but we're also not going to be getting any major step forward in gameplay until Squadron 42 is complete, which is at least 1 or 2 years from now. And again,
that's where I think he's completely wrong. And I can't believe I'm the one defending CIG from reacting to a morphologist video. He is way more pessimistic about this than I am. The idea behind, again, I'll reiterate it again, the gameplay is created first in Squadron and is polished there and then brought over, and the designers are taught how to utilize that stuff in the game, in the PU environment. It may not work as well because we know our server ticks are so bad and all that stuff, and until that gets better, no gameplay is ever going to get better. I think we all know that, but that was their intention. So morphologists assuming right out of the bat that nothing is going to happen is quite surprising. First off, he may be right, but he sounds like he is 100% that's how it works, and that's not CIG's intention. But again, I'm still kind of on Morph's side here because I don't necessarily believe that whatever they intend to do is actually what will happen.
And CIG is notorious with optimistic dates. So yeah, 2022 is going to suck for Star Citizen development.
That's true.
Is it completely hopeless though?
No.
Probably, but I don't think so. There's some stuff to look forward to, I promise, this year, aside from more expensive ships. Stuff like the AI nav mesh tech, which they've been working on for years, which is going to put NPCs on
Morph's on a salty arc, dude. Holy crap.
Planets for us to fight and interact with and have missions for, and it may find its way into 318 or 319 if all goes well. But then we also have stuff like the cargo system refactor, which promises to bring physicalized cargo to Star Citizen, allowing us to salvage or pirate cargo from other players, NPCs, and wrecks. And of course, some more fun events like Jumptown 2.0 and Xenothreat and more, and a bunch of really great quality of life updates. But ultimately, the tangibles for 2022 are going to be very light. All in all then, if you're holding your breath for this year to be the year for Star Citizen, stop. You're gonna suffocate. Take a deep breath. It's not the year for Star Citizen, but there's some fun still to be had this year. Yeah. Personally, if you want my recommendation, I think that it's time to take a step back from Star Citizen and just visit it more lightly. Go play some other games for a while. There's some good stuff coming out like Elden Ring. I'm going to check that out. And I'm also going to be playing Space Engineers again with a bunch of my friends from the Armco community. So check that out this Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a community event where we get a bunch of people into a Space Engineers server and we do some fun stuff. So hop on our Discord, first come, first serve, and see if you can make it into the event. I'd love to see you guys there. But if not, see you guys in the next video. I hope. This is a pretty depressing video, and probably some of you are going to unsubscribe, but it is what it is.
This is what happens when Morph reads Reddit comments too much. He just it devolves you into this, I think. But yeah, I agree with him for the most part. I just think that CIG's intentions... Oh, God, I don't want to say their intentions. I'm not going to believe it until they don't do it. And then when they don't do it, I'm going to explode. Fatal flaw of mine. But I'm going to explode if this year they they don't take the things that they put into Squadron and bring them back into the PU how they said they were. But I'm probably going to explode. Just like that. What? So yeah, Morph, thank you for the video. I appreciate it. I'm going to link it to everybody here. If you guys want to watch it on your own, there you go. And yeah, mostly agree. I just think, again, the intentions there are probably different. It's just a matter of will they actually do what they say they're going to do? And I just am going to give them another rope, like I always do, I guess. And like many of us do, we just keep giving them ropes, and they keep pulling themselves out of the hole, and we'll see what happens. And I think maybe that's my own problem, but I'll own that one. But we'll see. So, again, thank you again, Morph. Appreciate it.